I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Coach on the floor.
Brian Johnson is absent tonight. He is sick, so I think he's available by phone call if needed. Moving on, you had time to take a look at the agenda and make any changes. I do know that, the numbers are off, but, everybody understands the situation there, no big deal. If there's no changes, I'll need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to number 4, alderman interviews if needed. Don't look like we have anyone here for that. Not needing number 5. Well, yeah. Moving on, number 5, approved minutes of December 19th, 2023 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the December 19th meetings.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to public input, first of the year, make it well aware, just a reminder, it's 3-minute time limit, everybody that's been here, I don't know who this fellow is, but, it's, okay. So, other than that, we got any public input tonight? Whoever wants to go first? Howie or John?
You can go. Go ahead.
Oh,
No, go ahead. You can go first.
all right. Well, this piece of paper I have in my hand came from Mr. Austin, the assistant attorney. And he seems to think that the warrant that was written 4 years ago and expired 14 days after 10/28 of 2020 is still, he can still come and go through my house. Now, the last discussion we had about my house, this body right here said, we don't care what's going on in the inside of your house, we got no business being in there, we just care about the outside. He wants to go and inspect the inside of my house. No, because I would direct you to that warrant, that on the bottom of the warrant, it's 2 pages, at the very bottom of the warrant it says, this warrant expires 14 days after my signature, and the judge signed that. And that was 10/28/2020. Now then, there's also a South Dakota codified law, 151111, pertains to prosecution. In other words, if you were gonna prosecute me for all the stuff that went through the inspection and all that stuff, you had 1 year from the day that judge signed it to do it. That expired 3 years ago. So, on here it says, I've done nothing to the exterior of my house. Anybody that's driven past the front of my house will see that the front of my house looks way different than it used to. And if you can't say that, you're blind. So, it's just that, I'm completely retired. I have a fixed income, extremely fixed. $2,338 a month, of which $1,200 goes right back to the bank immediately, and I never see it. And then I have $214 a month is for heat and gas and all that stuff. I think I pay $70-some a month to the city for the water and whatever that's involved. But I don't have a whole lot of money I could dump into the house. As far as the house falling in on itself, he addresses this and says that the house needs to be inspected because there's extreme urgency. That's calling from worthlessness. Oh, I'm sorry, feelingsless, I'm sorry. That's his name. But obviously there's been a conversation between him and your building inspector, and he's just building this into something that never was. That house was never falling in on itself. Mr. Sam Nelson could attest to that, because he's been inside my house. I put $12,000 in a new roof. $2,500 on a new porch. An additional $800 in just materials for what I put on the front of the house. And I have the shingles to put on the porch. My knees are so bad, that and I can't carry the 2 rolls up that I have to put down before I put the shingles on. I got the materials, I just physically haven't been able to do that. Like I said, I had surgery just a couple of weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, and, you know, my 14 years of jumping out of airplanes and both my knees need replaced, and I have a few other little hitches in my giddy up, so the longer in the tooth I get, the less mobile I become. That's not a complaint, that's just a fact. So, the warrant he's got, he can't come and look through my house again. That expired. Says right on there, right at the bottom of that document. 14 days after this was issued, it expires. Didn't have to worry about it then, because there was an agreement that happened wherein he came and inspected the house, top to bottom, took all kinds of ignorant pictures, didn't find anything where anything was falling in on itself. So structurally, the house is sound. It was never the dilapidated building that he represented, lied to a judge to get that warrant. So, this inspection in 7 days, I'd never agree to it, and it just can't happen. Legally, that warrant expired. That's according to the Union County State's Attorney, because I sent it to him and he looked at it and says, yep, it expired. So a lawyer did look at this. I can't, when we discussed this last year, I told you I doubted if I was gonna get everything done by the end of November or whenever it was. Because I just don't have the money. I made an attempt. You know for a fact I was gonna hire the old guy from Haywarden to come over and paint the house. But I was afraid I wasn't gonna have the money, so I told him let's not do this. I don't wanna have somebody do something and then I don't have the money to pay him. That wouldn't exactly be a right kind of thing to do. Well, in this case, the house isn't gonna fall in. Is it gonna get done? I'd say by the end of next year, this year I guess, sure. But in a week, in the next few months in the cold, I got hired by the Department of Transportation, State of South Dakota, to be a part-time snowplow driver. I can't go plow snow, there isn't any. So I can't even work making $21.50 an hour. Good chance I'll get hired for the summer to go drive and mow alongside the interstate or whatever, don't know, but they said they were interested in keep me. I don't know how that is, they've never even seen me work yet, so.
I think, Howie, my opinion, I totally understand where you're coming from. I think that as the time the decision was made, I was just an alderman at that time, so I made the recommendation, I voted on it. I think the discussion was that we were going to give you till the end of 2023 to get the outside of the home looking extremely better, I should say. You had a discussion with me a couple times about it, and I understand your financial situation. I understand quite a few things. Bottom line is, we have codes in town, you're aware of that.
Sure.
And, you know, I can't speak for a lot of the years in the past that there's been situations with what's going on, but I think moving forward, communication is number one in my book. We need to hear and see your face more than just the time that you're upset about a letter, right? So, I mean, if we could get you to come back or get on the agenda for the next meeting.
Cool, now that I know how it works, but I mean, I
Correct.
thought I could just call.
But why don't you get on the agenda and let's try to hash it out and give us a little bit more time to discuss it as a council versus public input.
Did you see this before you sent it out?
I was aware of it, but I did not see it now. Do you have any other questions for Sam or?
No.
What's that?
Can I ask you a question? How is
Sure.
that from Jeff or from Austin?
Austin.
Okay. I know you and you know me, we've done this for a while.
Sure. I read him the riot act over the phone, he might have told you that.
He did. I wanna make sure we're all understanding here. The warrant does expire. The process, this would be the third time we did this with you now, so I know that you know that I know the first step is we say, hey, can we come take a look? And as you and I know, I'm gonna talk real quick, just give me a minute. You know you can say no, and then you know that our next step is we gotta go talk to Tammy Byrne about whether we get an inspection warrant, we gotta base something on it.
Sure.
I have been inside your house. I know there are a myriad of code violations that are not gonna get fixed in a day, a week, or a month, or a year, and that's how you bought it. I understand.
Yes, sir.
And I think the agreement that we all came to was, we wanna see some progress, you get the outside taken care of, and I know you've been working at that.
Well, if you would look at the pictures of when I bought the house compared to the way the house looks now, the fact that I poured a patio, that's another $1,800.
I understand.
I mean, it's not like nothing's ever been done.
I understand, Howie, and where we're at again in the process, on year 3 or 4, I've kinda lost count. We're needing to see if you've done anything to the inside, we're needing to check out the outside.
It's just like I would tell you, on the inside, there hasn't been anything done. Just like the second time Phillies was over there, he didn't even walk in he walked in where we were standing, but that's it. Because there's nothing to go and revisit. Nothing has changed since he took the first pictures.
And that's probably his point, is that there's things that are continuing to be out of ordinance. Now,
Out of ordinance is one thing, but dilapidating or causing, the house to fall in, that ain't happening either.
again, I understand differences of opinion, and I'm not gonna sit and tell you you're wrong.
I just want you to look at the part where it says, due to the urgency of this situation, there is no urgency, the house isn't gonna fall in. He makes it sound like the house is friggin' falling in.
I think what he's saying is, we've had a couple years of several things that are out of code that haven't been changed, and it's getting time to change. So, I'm happy to, if you wanna get on the agenda and hash it out, we can do that. You and I have not always seen eye to eye, probably because you're in the Army and I was in the Marine Corps.
Well, those times with guided children, I
But,
understand.
but we managed to kind of work through it, and if you wanna talk to me.
I don't wanna talk to Austin.
Well, I don't wanna talk to him either, so.
Well, there you go.
You and I can talk. and-
Did you hear that? There's a reason that he sends him down here.
Right,
Anyway.
right, well, yeah, no, so, I'm just throwing that out there, if you wanna work with me again.
That's fine.
Figure something out, happy to try that.
Well, you can tell your little brother that I'm done with it.
All
I don't
right.
need that.
You
I
don't
know what
need
it
it.
says.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give it back to you anyway, just so you've got it, okay?
Thanks for the public input, Howie. If you come to the next meeting and wanna pursue it, you're welcome to get on the agenda, and I'm.
When is the
happy to-
next meeting?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, Tuesday night, will be the,
16th.
yep,
16th?
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
I think everyone here knows who I am. I'm John Sirk. I live on 203 Park Avenue. On October 28th, I had my basement flooded. The sewer backed up. It was a Saturday night about 11 o'clock. Now, I know Dave has talked to you about this. He has the bill. I don't have it on me right now. But I know what was discussed last time was the city's policy is unless you contact the city first, you have to pay for your own rotor route, because that's what I called in, was have someone come rotor route it out, and we found out it was the city's issue to begin with. My issue with that is, on Saturday at 11 o'clock, there's no number to call. Who do you call? I mean, do I have to sit in my house, not use a shower, bathroom, live with the smell, and keep cleaning it up, because it was actively coming in my basement at the time? Do I have to sit in my house until Monday at 8, when I can finally get a hold of somebody down here? Or what, I mean, what's the policy? How does that get taken care of? Because, I mean, I wouldn't expect anybody to sit in their house full of sewer with it actively coming in for a whole weekend, fighting that. Like I said, I called the rotor route. I do have Lucas's number, I realized that later, but not everybody in town has his number. And I don't think that that's right to give out everybody's personal cell phone numbers to people in town for whatever they want, But going forward, I mean, I'd love for you guys to take care of the bill, don't get me wrong. but something needs to change where anybody in town can get a hold of somebody at Saturday night at 11 or Monday at midnight or whatever, cause stuff happens after hours too. And then the other issue I have is every time I've called down here, I get a voicemail box that's full. So I can't even leave a message with somebody. So the voicemail box is full, yep. The voicemail box is full down here all the time. And just to leave a message is impossible to do. So what's gonna fix this? I mean, something needs to happen. And what should have my steps been then that night to not have to pay the bill out of pocket?
I guess in the past, on my behalf, the experiences, if people have an issue that they feel is up and beyond what they can take care of themselves, and they think it's, you know, something that they need to get a hold of the city, people have called 911, they call the police station, you know,
That's-
and that's how it's been reported to me. I'm being open with you, but I just had an incident a couple weeks ago. You know, a resident was walking down the street, seen something going on, and yeah, it didn't pertain to his own solo house, I get it, but, you know, the county contacted me and said, hey, you know, this is going on, so then I called Lonnie, and we got it figured out, but, you know, I believe you get on the website, there is contact information under
Nope.
the alderman.
Nope. Look it up, Dave looked it up too.
It's all right there, I just looked my phone
So
number.
your guys' personal phone numbers are on that website.
Yep,
It has been, I mean, unless something's changed in the last couple of weeks, the last time I looked at it, everybody was listed, either a phone number or an email, but, I mean, there should have been at least minimum of one number on there for sure
Well,
that you could have contacted.
maybe I didn't go on the Alderman thing, but I do know that there is no emergency contact, and when, like I said, when you have sewer actively rushing into your basement, the last thing they're doing is searching a website for something. I hate to say it like that, but there should be something posted on the homepage for emergency contacts. You know, and you and I both know, being on the fire and the ambulance, I'm not gonna call 911 for sewer backing into my house.
Sure,
Cause that is, to me, false reporting, in my mind.
I'm just
Yeah.
telling you, that's what
Right.
residents have been doing, you know, because maybe they're up against the same situation you're in, they don't know
Right.
who to call, and maybe people are not thinking about going to the city website to get a phone number any more than what just a landline would be.
Okay, well, and I've been talking to Dave about this, just a little bit, and he said that there's a new website coming out.
Correct?
Like I said, I'd like to see something about an emergency contact on either the homepage or another page on there somewhere. Cause I did look on the website, just on the homepage for something that night.
Yeah, Dave and I actually have been, just talked about that today, getting an emergency number to reach like Lonnie or Dale or, you know.
Right,
the guy
and
afterwards.
I feel bad for, I mean, having to be Lonnie and Dale all the time, cause I don't want 30 people reaching out to them in the weekend, cause they're stubbed their toe, or you know what I mean. But there should be some sort of a solution that could come to light here, so.
You know, and I appreciate you coming here, John, but the biggest thing I always tell people is, we don't know how we can improve at all times unless we get some input from people.
Right,
But majority of the time, we get, the input we do get is something negative on what the city's doing wrong. But we hardly ever get anything where people come and say, hey, you guys need to do this, try to do a better job, or give us recommendations on what we could do to improve this or that. And so, I mean, I do appreciate you coming this evening to tell us, hey, this is what I was up against, you guys need to do something on this behalf,
right,
and we'll try to improve.
yeah, yep, so that's,
I'm just saying, there was contact information on the website.
and yeah,
Just didn't dig
it
deep.
probably's on there somewhere. Like I said, I searched around on the page a little bit after the fact, and I opened the page up and looked for emergency contact, and there wasn't anything on the front page, so. And like I said, in an emergency situation like that, it's kind of a, you know, so, but, well,
Could I
thank you.
ask you too, John,
Yeah,
looking at age group of our town, like my mom.
right, no, and, yeah,
They're not gonna go to a website.
right,
She would be clueless.
right.
What would you recommend? What do you think would be an idea to do?
Well, I mean,
Because so our elderly in town do know.
For the young people, it'd be the website, you know,
Right.
or Facebook page or whatever. For the elderly, I guess I really don't have a solution for that. I mean, that
Yeah,
one's,
cause it could happen. It
oh,
could
yeah,
happen.
yeah, that's a tough, I mean, and you can't even say put it on the paper or on the TV site,
I
cause
know.
half of them don't get that
We
anymore.
could do it on the water billing, you know, have it in a different.
Maybe
that'd be a
Different
good
font
idea.
of letter for any emergency contact information,
Yeah,
and we could do something like that, so, you know, people look at the water bill and.
Cause I would say 50% of town doesn't go on the website.
oh, my in-laws
No, they
would
don't.
never open a website, you
No.
know, so, yeah, I guess, yeah. I'd just like to see that change where it's, I don't want it so that people are calling like Lonnie and them at 2 o'clock in the morning for, you know, my sink isn't draining. I get that, but at the same time,
Right.
John, I'm not familiar with the policy. Am I understanding you right that says you gotta call the city first to try to let them know?
that's what I've been informed of.
Okay.
I know other cities have other policies where if, you know, so I called the Roto-Rooter guy, cause I thought, when I lived up in Hartford, I had the same issue. And their policy was, well, it's probably your problem, so you might as well call a Roto-Rooter guy, which it was my issue that time.
Okay.
This time, like I said, looked on the website quick, and then I decided to go with calling, over in Beersford, a Roto-Rooter guy. Then I find out,
Probably.
yeah, it was Dan. And then I find out later that it's policy to call the city, and like I said, I didn't see an emergency number on there anywhere. But I wasn't digging real deep, because like I said, it was actively coming in my basement.
Question for clarification, so you said it was the city, so the blockage or whatever was causing it wasn't in your portion of the sewer line, it was in the city's portion, is that right?
Maybe Lonnie could explain that a little better.
Yeah, there were some roots that had lodged up, and, the week before that, the big Roto-Rooter people out of Sioux Falls had been down and washed the line to the north of his place, and they didn't get anything out of it,
Oh, okay.
but apparently there was something in it.
But it was at like the joint on the city's portion of it, not on his.
It was out in our main, yeah.
Gotcha.
We're talking city sewer main right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yep.
But it was further down than what was expected.
They must have knocked something loose,
No.
and it didn't make it to the manhole where they actually sucked it out, they don't send it all the way to the plant. And when, it let go, it must have went down
Went down quite a
just
way.
south
and
of
then
John's.
caused him a problem.
yeah.
Lodged up.
And then every time somebody up above me was flushing a toilet or doing laundry or whatever, it was coming into my basement, so that's why it was actively coming in.
John, I gotta read it, so I gotta read the policy that says what we're supposed to do, but I think if you don't have an emergency number, you call the city office, and that's in your phone and on your phone bill, and you can show you made the call, you probably crossed the finish line.
Well, I didn't, I'll be honest, that Saturday night, I didn't call the city, because I know that they're closed.
I get it, but I mean, until we figure this out, I don't know what else you're supposed to do. You call the city number and nobody picks up because it's 1 AM. I think you still cross the finish line, just for, if that's what you have to do. And so,
Right.
we need to have a better way to deal with this, but I'm just saying in the future, if it,
Well, and even, I'm not trying to push that I don't get the money back, but if I don't get the money back, like I said, we're coming up with solutions to try and fix this for future, you know, so.
yeah.
And Dave's got the bill, so if that does end up coming to fruition, then he can let me know.
Was there anybody else you know that had a backup?
No, I actually talked to all my neighbors and nobody else had an issue, which kinda pissed me off, but.
Wasn't there somebody that had a slow drain though?
I think, Jason Johnson.
Jason Johnson had a slow drain that night, but it was draining. He did have a little just around his one sewer hole, but that wasn't, you know, so. There was no other damage to any other, not that there was a bunch of damage to mine, because it's a basement, but,
But it's still sewer and sewer's gross.
yeah, it took some time to get it cleaned up and the smell out, so, but,
Well, I think we'll look into it a little more on how it reads, and, we'll visit on if there's anything we can do,
okay,
moving forward, but on this behalf, right now, I think, appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
And just sharing your input and your thoughts.
yeah, well, thank you guys for listening.
You
Yeah,
bet,
really
thank you,
appreciate
John.
it, thank you.
You guys have a good night.
Any other public input?
Mr. Mayor, David Larson. See down on item 16, you're talking about resolution of fees for 2024. I guess as someone that's been out at the golf course, last year I did a survey of green fees and cart rental fees for that area golf courses. And our green fees are $2 or $3 around less than the average.
Yep.
I guess when you get to that, I would think that maybe you might want to consider raising those by a couple bucks.
Yep.
Getting a little more revenue.
Sure.
You bet. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Any other public input? If not, we're moving on to number 7, which is number 11, not, if you haven't rewrote it. But water meter project, I guess, you want to give us some information?
You want me to give you some information?
Yep.
You bet.
I mean, we've been filled in a little bit, but I guess we're happy to hear what you got to.
Yep, no, I've been, off and on, probably for coming up on 4 years with the city,
Okay.
working with, and I live right up in Canton. My name is Farrell Anderson. I think I met some of you.
I got my
You're-
from last time,
Okay, you
yeah.
got yours, so, and just wanted to know Sam from Canton. He's one of those. And anyway, I've been down here a couple times. I don't know if I've ever presented to the council itself, but I know I've been down and presented to, the committee a couple times in regards to water meters. Abigail kind of picked up things and was running with it, and then, now Dave is kind of trying to pick things back up. So I know you guys have put some things in place, but, I work for Metering and Technology, represent Badger Meters, and we've been talking to the city about the automated meters, putting in, new meters, and then putting in, endpoints on the end of those cellular endpoints that would communicate automatically through the system, and then they would be read 4 times a day, and then Dave would have all the information in his computer daily. Dale and Lonnie could also have access to that, so they could monitor water usage. So it kind of takes just reading meters, and I know Dale is still walking and reading meters, but takes it just from reading meters for billing to more, now it gives you more information as far as what's going on, water usage, leaks and things like that. So it's a much more advanced system as things go. Just trying to, were you at that?
Yeah, I was at
You were there?
Yeah.
We can share.
You can share that one? And I see you got one, and you got yours, so, but it's our beacon system is what it's called. So, we were kind of looking at 2 different kinds of meters in the system. And what we were looking at is what they call the disk meters, which is this item here. And I probably could give you guys some updated pricing on these.
I know what we have.
They have, is that what you gave me?
It's up just a little bit more, so. Yep. That price I had on there, I've been holding that for 1.5 years, and they wouldn't let me hold it any longer. I think it's raised about $6,000. But, still well below our list price on these items, so I feel it's a very good price yet. But the main thing is, the disk meters have been around for a long time, proven technology, works very well. It is just a disk in there. When the water flows through it, this mutates, and then this here device reads it. And then you hook up a cellular endpoint to that, and then you just clip it up and put it up in the floor joist of the home, and then it reads automatically to the system, like I said, 4 times a day. A lot of features that I probably don't need to get into all of them unless anybody wants to or has any questions, but you can kind of see the pricing of this. The main advantage of this is proven technology, been around a long time. There's no batteries in this system here, so you can get 20, 30 years if you need to. These items here have a 20-year battery life, so in 20 years you can come unplug it and put a new one on. So any questions about the disk meters as you see them? The other one was what they call the E-Series meters. They're the ultrasonic meters, newer technology, been around about 10 years now. The deal is with those, there's no moving parts, so the theory is they will read more accurate over time, is the theory on those. The negative of these ones here are the fact that they have a battery on them. So in 20 years, you have to replace this plus this. So those are kind of the pluses and minuses of the two. Price-wise, just a little difference for the ultrasonic. In my mind, when people ask me, what would you do? My personal one for small towns is to look at doing something like this, because it gives you that flexibility. In 20 years, you don't have to draw a line in the sand and replace them. You got some flexibility. Somewhere in the 20 to 30 years, you have to replace these. So, that's kind of the main difference between the two, other than the price.
Quick question on the pricing.
Yeah.
These ones that we had here that you had sent over to Dave, is that including something else that these aren't? Because these ones you just gave us are lower
here,
than that.
And I'll get these up to you. This is the disc one. What Abigail had asked me to do, because I think it was the way you guys had funded some stuff, is put together, break this out over like a 4-year period, 3-4 year period, so it would work with what you guys have put in place. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, I think that's what the original plan was.
So what we did with that is we figured each year having a price increase of 5%. If it's less than that, it would be obviously less than that. But that's kind of the way we put that together, so you could kind of project that out. And here's the same thing on the E-Series meter. Do you need one of these? I'm sorry. So metering and technology, we have a lot of municipalities that we work with in the area, a lot of rural waters. One of the most unique things about us is all we do is water meters. Badger has been around for 100+ years, based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And my company's based out of Minneapolis up in Burnsville. And like I said, I'm based in Canton, and I've been working with them for coming up on 4 years. But what makes us more unique is all we do is water meters, and we have one of our guys that would come down and train you guys, train Dave on how to use it, and get everything set up for him. And then when they do that, they also get it set up where they can get access to your system with your permission, just for helping with diagnosing and any problems that occur. You call a number, a person answers the phone. We're a small company, and they're there to help you out. So, but the big thing for you compared to the way you're doing it is you get all this information. It's the day to do your billing reading. What day do you read bills for?
In the
Billing.
last week of the month.
Okay. Basically, you'll go in the computer, you'll say, okay, this is my billing read. You'll take that, you'll download it into your billing software, and then you can produce your water bills from there. So it's a much simpler system compared to the manual way of doing things, so. So that was kinda, having been down here and talked to some people, I didn't wanna come back in here and reinvent the wheel, but any questions, anything that I maybe brought up, that you maybe had questions about from the last time we met and talked?
Then we still have to hire somebody to.
Yep, I know Abigail had been working with Neil Durad as far as an install part of it, and I don't know if you're able to get a hold of Neil at all, or, okay. But out of Beersford, he was gonna, look at installing these for you guys.
Now, Lonnie, is that something you could do?
What?
What's that?
Lonnie, would you be able to install those?
Change my hours to 16 hours a day?
We just have to take that.
To an
truck
extent,
trailer
I
down
don't
the
know,
road.
it's gonna take a long time. Yeah. And we're gonna run into problems in people's houses where their valves don't work. They're, just in general, their water's
really seems like what he's talking about, what I see a lot across South Dakota and North Dakota is exactly what he's talking about. You're really starting to see less people with the city entities do it for those reasons, and you're starting to see more plumbers, certified plumbers. And a lot of bigger towns have it that way, where you have to have a certified plumber, so.
And just to note, typically, when somebody puts a meter in their house, we don't install it from the start anyways. We may switch one out if they froze it or something like that, but typically, we don't even install meters, so. In a newer setting, I'm gonna say, so. I don't know how. I just worry if we go in there and start wrenching on something, and then a week later, the water line breaks, who they gonna blame, you know? They're gonna blame us. And can we argue against them? We're probably stuck, so. But, not saying we can't do some of them and help out, but it's, our days are pretty packed full already, so.
So if their pipes would be, let's say, bad, then that would be the homeowner's responsibility to fix that pipe? If we put this in, correct?
Cause it's beyond the curb stop,
Yeah.
correct? After the curb stop, it's homeowner's responsibility.
Because it could happen, right?
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you showing us this, you know, I definitely think we need to do something, you know what I'm saying? I just, it's been a discussion, there's a lot of questions amongst everybody, and it's at times, you know, so I think we're just trying to figure out what our best option is at this point.
And like I said, Dave just
Yeah.
kinda wanted me to come in and just kinda
Absolutely.
get the ball rolling again, so no, I totally understand that, so. And like I said, there's a lot of features I didn't cover, I don't wanna bore you
Oh, yeah.
features, but I gave you guys all some information. You know, you get, all the residents could get a cell phone app and access their own water usage. So there are some nice features that you would notice, and you would go from a system used now just to bill people to a system that would give you insight into what's going on with your
Sure.
system, so. So no, that was kind of the purpose of me coming down and getting that ball rolling, so.
Absolutely.
All right?
I definitely appreciate it. We got questions, we'll contact you.
You
So
bet, I
we'll reach out.
appreciate you guys' time.
You bet, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too, thank you. Any other discussion? From council?
This is what you gave us for that, right? These are the numbers for the water and water waste reserve. That's from the 2022 election.
And up to whenever I ran that,
Okay.
I never ran the full fiscal year for 23 yet.
That's pretty dang close though.
Yeah, so it was early last month.
Okay. That's all.
No other discussion, we're gonna move on to number 8, legal updates with Sam.
I don't have any legal updates for you, at this time, and if anybody has any questions, happy to try to answer them, or anything that they wanna run by me, or anything you're seeing on the agenda, happy to try to answer it.
Any questions, concerns for Sam, legal updates? If not, we're gonna move on to number 9.
One second.
Go ahead.
Could I just ask you something with the concern of property?
Sure.
Was he correct in saying that everything is just, he said it was past date?
Yes and no, and so, the way those inspection warrants work is you are supposed to ask, hey, your house looks like it might be out of code, we're able to observe it's out of code, or, for example, like we're just talking about, the meter man comes in and sees the foundation's crumbling when he's in the basement. You gotta come make sure you're up to code and is it safe. Homeowner can say no, and then you do an affidavit to the judge, here's all the things we think are wrong, please give us an inspection warrant. If the judge says yes, she gives it to you, you have a specific period of time that you have to go in and take a look at. And so, once that happens, the warrant is expired. In order to get that warrant, you gotta start a legal action. And so, Where we're at, and this is kinda why I brought it up with him, because we've done it a couple of times, is we first need to ask. And I understand his position, but our position is we had a long list of things that were not up to code, and we haven't seen them be fixed. Granted, he's done some work on the exterior, I don't know that the exterior is all up to code, but, it's one of those deals where we've, at times, and we've made an agreement with him, hey,
Right.
listen, we'll give you some time to get it done. And so, now we're kinda starting over from square one again on looking and what have you done, and how do we move them along? And I, just for what it's worth, I had looked, I believe I sent an email, I'm not sure on this, but I will look. But I had spent some time looking into like Habitat for Humanity, if there are any veterans groups that we can get that are,
Right.
that could help him get some stuff done. We ought to do that, and I think there was something out of Sioux City.
Cause I even mentioned to him, ministerial in town, they might help. But I keep hearing there might be a safety concern, so you don't know how much to pursue some of that.
Yeah, and I just, I mean, I've talked with Howie a lot, and I'll say it publicly, so I've said it like, we've got other things to do, but there's a standard, we've gotta have a standard, and I understand he doesn't have a money tree in his backyard, and nobody wants to take his house. I don't wanna,
No,
you know, I like.
but there's safety issues
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah, and so,
Yeah,
it's just, well,
okay, cause he would probably have to get another building permit, am I?
yeah, and I mean, you know, that was a year. Yeah,
Because
it's
it's
only
over a
good for
year.
1 year, and that was a point of,
I don't know.
I don't know, I'd have to look at the ordinance, paint your house, no, but structural things generally you do
Yeah.
have to.
What is that structured house?
And I don't know if our ordinances say that we can waive the cost. I know how we didn't have a lot of money, if we gotta waive the cost, we gotta think about doing that, you know, I mean, just help him get as far along as he can, but.
I just was curious.
Yeah,
how- he
so,
kept
so
saying that.
is he right that the warrant is expired? Yes, but I don't think that we're
We're not.
we're not at the point where we're saying we have a warrant, we're coming in, we're at the point of,
I think he misunderstood what the letter was saying.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That was way more concise than what I said.
I have a concern about Luke. I showed you the 2 holes in his backyard. I'm worried about some little kid falling in there, or even Dell, I would,
And getting all the stuff. out.
somebody get
There's
hurt falling in
some stuff
there.
in there.
And he mows over it, and around it, why the heck would you take a little gravel or something and put in there?
I think I'll just take care of that on my behalf. I'll go with the skid loader and bring some dirt up and we'll get that taken care of. We'll cover that. I understand that situation. I think any Wanda's neighbor, your neighbor to the house is an eyesore, absolutely. And I guess I think amongst the council, I think we all agreed on the legal side of it to strictly just, let's get the outside cleaned up, let's get it looking good, and then we can discuss moving forward what we're going to pursue or not. And so, with that being said, I'd like to see anyone that has a legal concern or breaking the code with the city to come and visit with us and communicate versus just coming in here and, being very upset with us when, I guess we're just trying to keep the city looking good and improving things, maintaining. So, I guess that's only thing, but, I'll do my best to get those holes filled in, at my earliest convenience. So,
Well, you probably should go knock on his door, so he's let him know that you're
I
gonna do
will let him know. So, I'll talk to him before I do it, and I'll take, I'll take care of it, so. Any other legal updates, concerns, questions in regards to this? Sam, do you have anything on that garage that, the roof is caved in and the wood wall is blowing out?
I don't, what's the address on that?
I got another letter from, Austin,
Okay.
sent that out to her in the mail this morning,
Okay.
the second letter.
Where's this garage at?
Right next to George Talbot to the, north, in the alleyway. They should have been taken care of it a long time ago. It's definitely a hazard, right next to the north, there's little kids,
Because she received she was sent the first letter, that I'd got, I'd sent that to her, that Austin had asked me to send. I got a call from her last Tuesday, I think it was, and I let Austin know what she said. And then he emailed me another letter to send that to her this morning.
All right.
So, and I can forward that to you guys if you want to see it.
Well, any other legal updates or concerns or questions? If not, we're moving on to number 9, 2024 retainer agreement with Freeburg Nielsen. So it is in your handout, and if you want to take a look at it, questions for Sam, he sure can answer you, or try to answer them anyway.
You guys care if I take over just a couple of what I think are the salient important points?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
We proposed a rate increase of $150 an hour to $175 an hour. I initially had talked internally with my firm about 200, because frankly, that's what things are costing us these days, but we have a general policy of we try to keep public work cheaper, because it is important, and I understand that towns like this don't have the cash that other ones do. It's a function of size. Just for context, my typically hourly fee is $250 an hour for most things. But so after talking with the mayor a little bit, I landed on $175. That is a proposal to you folks. And then in paragraph 2, under that fee, you will look at the language that talks about mayor, finance officer, and attorney shall communicate as needed, talk about whether we need to be in meetings, whether we can attend by phone. And then I fleshed out to say we may attend portions of meetings. The reason I've added some of this additional language is in the experience with other towns that I do, a lot of our work is with the finance officer, the mayor, and it is doing stuff not for the meeting, and it gets done, and then it's handled. When I started this, so far back, we were in an old building, but you were on this, and just to be frank with you, we sat here for 3, sometimes 4 hours, and you guys paid to have us here, and I don't want you to pay us $125 or $50 or $75 an hour for really 15 minutes of input, and then being here, because I don't think it makes a lot of sense. That said, I think there was a lot of history where things would come up, and it was nice to have us here. I think when I was in Pier, before we brought Austin on, and this is my opinion only, but I think we were able to make a lot of things work by calling me if needed for stuff. And so some of the other models that city attorneys do is they'll have 2 meetings a month, but the attorney will be there for the first meeting. And I don't work with Dave near as much because Austin handles most things, but I have a good working relationship with him. Austin tells me the same, and I'm always in touch with Lucas. I say that because I think there may be a way, if you want to set a meeting, 1 meeting a month, or just for portions of meeting, we ought to be able to have our business in order so you can get us in, have us do what we need to do. We can go, and you're not getting billed to have us sit here the whole night. I think that'll probably save the city some money overall in the long run, or, you don't get billed for the whole meeting if something comes up and you say, hey, we gotta call Sam or Austin, either in executive session if there's a legal question, or if you have something that you would like to speak with us about. And so, that's what I tried to capture in some of the additional wording in section 2. If you wanna vote on it tonight, great. If you wanna discuss it amongst yourselves while I'm not here and think about it until next meeting or whatever, that's fine too. But I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if you have any thoughts about how we could do it different, better, whatnot. And then the last thing I close with is, I do think it's important, either in an executive session, which you have the right to do, or if you wanna do it publicly, where are we missing the mark? What could we be doing different or better for you guys? What would you like to see? So
hourly billing rate, and I only asked this because I saw the large bill amount, but I didn't have access to like a broken down fee of what it all entailed. How do you bill for that? So like if Lucas called and had a 5-minute conversation, is that 5 minutes of your time or is that an hour of your time?
No, that's a very good question. We bill in tenths of an hour.
Okay.
And so, for example, which breaks down to 6 minutes. If Lucas calls me and has a 6-minute conversation with me, hey, here's what's going on tonight, that's 0.1 for hourly time. As you can imagine, sometimes those turn into 15-minute calls pretty quick. But no, you're billed in tenths of an hour.
So what about a text message? Cause I know like, I've texted you before.
Yeah, no, and that is, so like, that's a good question, and it's like, it's different for you guys a little bit than for certain clients, like, I'll just give you an example, try not to spend a bunch of time, but so like, if I have a criminal defense client, and I text with that person 4 or 5 times a day on different things, they may get billed 0.2, over the course of the day. I don't believe Austin bills for texts, and I typically don't bill for text. I mean, if you text me and are like, you know, hey, or should we update this ordinance that we talked about the other day? And I'm like, yeah, we should get that on the agenda. That's not billed. If you call me and we talk for a half hour about whatever, you get billed for that.
Understood.
And just to be frank with you, like there are times like if Dave sends me a 2-sentence email and I do a 2-sentence response, there's a 50% chance that I don't write that down because I'm doing something else, and so does that answer your question,
Yes,
Kendra?
no, I appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, but you do get itemized bills, and Dave has those, and you're able to see them.
Yeah, no, sorry, I just didn't, cause it was in the interim change, so.
Gotcha.
Any questions for Sam? So it's, if you would like to make a decision and a motion, you surely can. If you would like to table it, think about it, we can move on. It's up to you.
I'll make a motion to approve retainer agreement for Freeburg, Nelson and Ask for 2024.
Go ahead, Judy.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed. Moving on to number 10.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any? No.
Moving on to number 10, 2024 official newspaper. In the past, we've always had to approve the agreement with them, so you're all aware of it.
I'll make a motion to approve the Alcester Beresford Hudson Republic as the official newspaper for the city of Alcester.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion or concern? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Yep. Darla made a motion and Kendra seconded it. You're welcome. Moving on to number 11, 2024 official bank. So motion to approve Premier Bank, official bank for the city of Alcester 2024.
I'll make the motion to approve Premier Bank, official bank of City of Alcester for 2024.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to number 12, finance office. Motion to approve the December warrants. And which, we already did that, so, right?
No.
Yeah. So,
We did? No.
no?
Just
December 19th.
Oh, excuse me, I made a mistake here, we approved the minutes.
Thank you.
So yes, and then, resolution for City of Alcester 2024 resolution fees, we need to discuss that. The 2024 municipal election information. And, so yeah, Dave, you got anything to add on this? It's kind of your category.
I assume we should make a motion.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. Okay. So, what's that?
When, for the election then, when is it people have to have their petition?
So we're gonna be, we'll be co-opting with the school like typical past years. Election day, will need to be set tonight, and that's down farther.
Oh, okay, okay.
Earliest date candidates can, sign the declaration of candidacy and begin to circulate petitions is January 26th.
Okay.
And then they have to be returned, the deadline for filing the nomination petitions is, Friday, February 23rd, at close of business.
You can pull a petition here at the city office or through the county.
I was reading the municipal league book before I came, and that was so different than we do it. That's why I asked.
So yeah, spread the word if anybody wants to get on the council. I think there's gonna be some seats to be filled, so spread the word.
So do we need a motion to do the warrants or no?
For 12A.
I'll make a motion to approve the December warrants.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to B, resolution for City of Alcester 2024 resolution of fees. It's in the handout.
So it is in the handout, and, as Dave Larson mentioned earlier, there were some increases on the rates from last year. I won't point out all of them, but, there was an increase, under the fees for maintenance, the pool fees, and then, the golf membership and green fees, were all increased.
Is the cart storage fee still
I
after?
didn't, the storage fees I did not change.
Lonnie, are those accurate to what they should be?
I haven't seen them.
I didn't have any
I think
reference
I'd
for
be,
those either.
I would be hesitant to raise those storage fees considering we've got so many open spaces up there.
Okay.
People have started pulling their carts out of there, so.
Perfect.
So what did the golf carts go up, or the fee to golf, did it go up a couple bucks?
So we were at, $11 and $13, like for the golf cart, or,
To golf, yeah.
The
Yeah.
green fee?
the green fees were 11 and 13 during the week. Excuse me, $11 and $16 for during the week. And they went up to 13 and 19, and then 13 and 19 on the weekends. So. And then cards were $8 and $12.
So do you guys feel that's good, what it went up? Dave and,
But I didn't get the membership fee. Did those change? They changed last year, I think.
Membership, looks like, when I looked back, it looked like the membership fees had gone up about $15 each year, the last couple of years. So that's what I changed them $15 more than what they were the previous year.
All categories.
All of them.
think that sounds all right?
I think the only one I didn't change was the high school. I think that one was left the same. That had been, from the last couple of years, that had been the same the last few years.
Yeah, we need to encourage young people to get out there, so, yeah, that'd be good.
And even with our rate increases, we're still under the other golf courses.
Yep, according to this price, for surrounding courses, we're still gonna be at least a few dollars per 9 or 18 round hole for all the courses within our area.
Yeah, we were way too low last year. We have been.
I mean, I think they did a lot of work to get it up to par with surrounding areas.
We did.
Well, any other discussion amongst them? So
Uh,
move, huh?
The annual golf cart permits, that's just the red triangle, is that correct? Sorry, nothing.
No, that's there's a plate that they have to have,
Okay.
if they're gonna drive them on city streets.
Oh,
You jumping
If
on the
they-
golf
the
course?
red triangle?
The golf cart permit,
Like the
that's
slow
the,
moving vehicle?
no, then that's different, that's also another charge.
Okay.
So I think we charge $5 for those. But the annual golf permit, it's a miniature license
Okay.
plate.
You don't have to buy the slow moving sign from the city.
No.
You know, so. You only have one off something else that you use that, but you still have it.
It just has to have it on.
So do we need a motion then to,
Approve them, we do.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 resolution of fees.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving,
So will this be on the website then?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
moving on to 2024 municipal election information. Motion to approve the April 9th, 2024 as the date of the annual election of the Alcester City Office.
I'll make a motion to approve April 9th, 2024 as the date of the annual election at the Ellsworth City Office.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Before you go on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
You should all see I think that I included the notice of vacancy in your packets. So I did talk to the election, office out of the Secretary of State, just to make sure, and with pretty much everybody except for Darrell being appointed, all 6 aldermen and mayor position will be open for election. Those will be, the notice of vacancy will be posted in the newspaper next week and the following week. So,
And moving on, 2024 salaries, would you like to, you need a motion to enter into executive session to SDCL 1-25-2-1 personnel if needed. Would you like to enter into that?
Okay.
I recommend we do.
I
Yes.
make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to SDCL 125-2-1 personnel.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We are in at 7:05 PM. Executive session at 7:31 PM.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the 2024 salaries.
I'll second. You're good.
Scarlett made a motion, Julie seconded. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to number 17, city website update.
So I emailed Julia, just to kind of see where we're at. Because I did get a message from our current web host company, Originally, when I had talked to him that we were gonna switch, he had said just, if it's not too long of a period after the first of the year, just let me know. And now his wording is, well, you're still gonna have to pay the 2024 invoice, and then we will credit you back for how many every day, they'll prorate it back. So I reached out to Julie and let her know that, so that's why that's on there.
Sorry guys, I would've heard you a little more. if I-
Are we anywhere close to it, or?
I could have it within a week. Doable. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect yet, but I can keep.
Does it have the same information that we already have?
So far, I have all of the documents uploaded as far as events, notices, like the different codes and everything. So all that's in place pretty much. The link to the pay.gov is up. The business directory is not done, but I can keep plugging away on that. That's not the end of the world. The golf course is not up yet. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I can just put.
One thing they asked at the meeting is if they could be a part of that, would there be a way they could put stuff on?
Absolutely, and I can just leave that page blank and we can just,
I did tell Lyndon to email you.
oh, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything they want done, I mean, you can do as little or as much as they want.
Get it set up and tell them it's up to them.
Yeah, I mean, the page is there, it's just
Right.
blank right now.
Okay.
So if that is something they wanted to do, the only thing is we can't give them a login just for that page, so they just have to make sure not to like change anything else accidentally,
Oh.
but.
Yeah.
Or I could sit down with them and they could just tell me what they want where, and I can just put it where they want it to, for that matter.
Okay.
Yeah, I can probably have it good enough to go up within a week, it's just, I mean, it's not gonna be quite pretty
But
yet.
since it's past the first, we still have to pay this regardless? Is that what you're saying?
But we get prorated by the month or by the day exactly?
He just said prorated this,
So I wonder if now we have to pay all of January anyway or something like
Yeah,
that.
maybe you should clarify that.
He sent me, the invoice he sent me, it covers, for the entire year of 2024.
Sorry, clarify how you will prorate it.
Yeah.
If you'll prorate it per day or prorate it per month.
Yeah.
Because if it's per month, then she has until February to get it
Then we might as well take the extra time just to have everything done in that
If
day.
it's by day, then she can get it done.
It's end of the month. Let's try to have it done by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely doable. Yeah.
I'll call him first thing in the
Absolutely.
morning.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Then I will make the motion to approve payment to Catalyst in the amount of $780.90 for the 2024 web hosting services.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to 18, golf course fairway mower and greens roller discussion. It's in your handout here. We initially had this budgeted for a $20,000 greensway mower, a new one, and Lonnie did reach out to me last week, talked to me about it a little bit. This one that is in your handout is a golf course clubhouse, golf club of Canton, and it's got about the same amount of hours on as we do on our old one. Our old one is not worth what this one's worth, so I don't think we're going to sell our old one, but it's a lot newer. It's got a lot of advancements to it. It's a lot safer. That's a big thing in my opinion. Getting on and off. Our old one is dangerous compared to this one. So it does have lots of good grows to it. Our old one, on a bad day, it's probably worth $500. On a good day, Lonnie, $1,200.
I'd say so.
So, we could surplus our old one if it's, if it's over $500, we gotta get that one appraised. But yeah, we have to make a decision on this one. We can't table this mower because then there's another city or somebody else in line that would like to have a chance at it. So, that being said, we can get both of these items still under the price of $20,000 and still be money ahead, and I think it'll do the job we need. We are going to go to less mowing with the chemical that we're using, just for the fact that we're going to slow the rate of the grass down. And then we'd like to get a roller for the greens. It's lighter, it's made to do the job versus our roller, flat-faced roller we use for the city streets. We can do that, but we only can do about once or twice a month at most because of the weight, right, Lonnie?
More like summer.
Okay, so this one here, I would say, instead of running the mower across that, this, we'd be running this roller instead of the mower. In my opinion, I think it's a good decision. And that's my only opinion because I've visited with Lonnie upon this information beforehand, so, you can ask Lonnie questions or whatever.
So you're just wanting to change the equipment that you're purchasing?
Yeah, basically, that 20,000 was for a fairway mower, we were thinking that would probably get us in the range of getting a decent fairway mower. But this came up, we actually have some service records on it, whereas if we just bought one randomly, we would probably have that, so. The guys that contacted Dave about this, and Dave can step into if he wants, they actually do our reel sharpening for us up in Canton on these other mowers. And so I went and looked at it. Like Lucas said, the on-off, getting on and off thing to me is just huge on this thing. It doesn't even, until you actually get on the one and then get on the other one, it's unreal. I don't know how many times, maybe Dave didn't have a problem, but I almost fell off that other one a few times when the grass, was wet.
The only time this step is available is if the heads are folded up.
Gotcha.
And then, so if you keep it down on the ground, like to get off to change a fairway marker or a distance marker, then basically you gotta jump off and climb back on.
Right.
But along with that, this newer style, basically it's the updated style of what we currently have. They've done some differences and they changed the engine around so we can clean the radiator out better. Everything's raised so we can change filters. We can service this thing so much easier and everything's wide open.
If we were to buy something like this, how long would you expect it would probably last?
Well,
I mean, you never know for
you
sure.
don't know. I would expect this one to last a long time based on what I've seen and seeing the service records. Obviously, there's gonna be some down the road, updating that we'll have to do to the reels. They'd said that we'd have 2 to 3 years left of reels for sharpening. But then I told him how many hours we actually mow, and he said, no, you'll get way more out of them than that, so. We'll see, it all depends on our maintenance on our end, if we're not over sharpening them and over tightening them and creating too much friction, or running them, not across grass blades, cause grass blades are what helps cool these reels, so. It's all I can't say that I would do it better than anybody else, and everybody runs this stuff a little different, so. But strength-wise out of the engines are really, really good. They say they're probably about a 7,000 hour mower. So we're looking at 2,400 hours left on this mower engine. And we're probably gonna be down to about 200 hours on each mower this year. In that range, so 12 years should.
There'll be the common wear points on it that will have to be replaced or kept up on, but that's what the new one
Always
too.
maintenance.
So,
Well, yeah, a new one of these things is $60,000, so. Pretty outrageous.
That's if you can get one.
If you can get one, and you'd have to wait years, literally years to get one.
so do you wanna do a little briefing on that roller too?
Okay, so the roller, like Lucas said, through 2 or 3 times, we rolled the greens with our city street roller last year, which is way overkill, way heavy, but you can get away doing it 2, 3 times. This thing doesn't compress the soil profile. it'll just smooth basically your thatch layer and your grass. And the thought behind this is to use our greens more or less and save some hours on that, because eventually that thing will have to be replaced, and the longer we keep that thing good, we won't have to replace that one either. But that's not saying that, we do have two green style mowers, one of them's gonna have to get replaced in the near future, but, so keep that in mind. But this'll, you know, it's, to me, it's about giving players a consistent surface to play on out there too. So that they come one day and it's not, the ball just, you tap it and it flies all the way across, and the next day you gotta act like you're hitting it with your driver.
Consistent.
Yeah, so it's a consistency thing. What I really liked about it, after doing some research and talking to Aaron Johnson, sent a letter to, I don't know if you guys all got that, who is our consultant. And maybe that didn't go in the forward to you guys.
No, I've got it, it's right.
Yeah.
Okay, but you kinda explained, you know, it helps with some disease resistance and stuff, and it can also help us with some of our dry spot issues that were pretty bad last year. That was probably the
Doesn't that
biggest,
seem like that's the biggest complaint?
the dry spots.
2 years ago.
Yeah, so
It
the
really
dry-
improved last year.
Yeah, but I'm excited if this can help us with our dry spots, because they just came out of the woodworks, and you never knew when they were coming, so. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of watering, extra watering to get those spots to come back.
I think with Aaron's help this past year, and Monty put the time into it, and along with Dave, but having the golf course as pristine and perfect as we could, and we did, it paid off.
It did pay.
It did pay off, so I mean, moving forward, we do not want to take any shortcuts, or, you know, we're getting some positive recommendations on what we can do to make it even better or more consistent. We need to keep that in mind, because we want a good golf course, and we have had it, this past year was outstanding, and I'd like it to stay that way.
Me too.
Yeah.
Especially if we're raising fees and it's gaining more popularity, yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Gotta keep up
So,
with it.
that's where we're at now.
So what does the motion need to be?
Yeah, does it change the budgeted equipment, or?
I would just make a motion to purchase buying both, you know,
have to
fairway
change the
mower
budget
and green
from,
roller.
Because it's not listed in the budget.
It's not specified what it was going for, it was just under equipment. Perfect. Oh, okay.
So just pretty much list out what you're buying at what price, and that should be covered.
But then whatever is left in that budget line for equipment,
Yep.
if you wanted to increase that to purchase something else or reallocate it to something, which you might not even have to, because the sprinkler heads are also in that budget line,
Yeah,
and you don't know how many you're gonna need,
correct,
and those are also crazy price.
yes.
So that can be used since it's in that
Okay,
line item as
That's-
well.
good that we've got a little
Yeah,
leeway there.
sorry.
So, no, that's fine. It's up to you if you'd like to purchase one or both or none. But yeah, we need to move on, and
Does
there's
it
no
have a
discussion.
price now?
Yeah, about the top 8 of them. Are those exact prices?
Yeah, yep, 7,900 on the roller and 8,000 on the fairway mower, the Toro.
Well, I would make a motion to purchase a 2012 Toro 5210 from the Hiawatha Golf Club in Canton for $8,000, and to also purchase a 2017 True Turf RV 48 greens roller from Dakota Custom Turf for $7,900.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
And doesn't have to be said where it's coming from.
I don't think so.
Oh, I just did that in there.
No, it's okay. No, sorry, not where it's coming from, what budget it's.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, it needs to come out of that. You should specify that, yes.
Oh, sorry. So I would amend that motion to include that will be coming out of the 2024 golf course budget under equipment.
Thank you.
Darla, would you
And
like
I'll
to-
second
Okay.
it.
Now, any other discussion, concerns? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to number 19, garbage collection contract update.
Because we had to actually post it for bid, that's why we have that on the agenda again. We did not hear from anybody else like expected, so I talked to Austin, cause he asked if we got anything back, and I said no, and we just needed it on there to reapprove the contract, and I'll send another one to Lauren Fisher and just sign it with the updated date.
Sounds good. Thank
I'll
you.
make a motion to approve re-signing the Lauren Fisher contract for 2024 through 2026.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to public safety, monthly stat report.
Should we
It's
include?
in your handout. If you got any questions, we do have Kyle here yet. He could answer not to his best ability to do that if possible. Not a whole lot really going on. We've got a few things, but,
Heard nothing about the vandalism, I suppose that's because.
Yeah, it's in the email.
Is it?
He said the only notable case that isn't showing on the report is the intentional damage to property call on 12/24/23.
And to my knowledge, we have no new leads on who did anything, so.
on what, Kyle?
We have no new leads on anything, going forward with that vandalism case so far.
Gotcha. I don't know how much of the community knows upon that, but whoever is doing this, we're not accusing anybody of doing it, but they need to stop. Because we don't need this kind of stuff going on in town. We don't need people tapping on people's windows in the middle of the night. We have things going on that are making people scared. Good word, Dave. So,
Does everybody know what happened?
I was gonna say, is this the tire slashing?
so one of them
Yes.
was the 12 tires that got,
Yes,
Wow.
there's a resident had all 4 tires on 3 separate vehicles
Oh
slashed
my
in one
gosh.
night.
it is on the west
I
side of
didn't
town.
realize it was that many.
Yep. And so, we don't know who it is, we don't have no proof. But since then, there has been somebody tampering with people's windows,
Vehicle windows or home?
home.
Oh, windows.
Knocking on people's windows?
Correct. So, I know, we don't need this, that's all I can say. It needs to stop. If somebody has an issue about something, let's take upon a different way of handling it, I think, so. Kyle, you have anything to add to that?
Nope.
Okay. With that being said, you take a look at the stats, if there's any questions, concerns on it, pretty much what it is. Any questions in regards to it? Alright. Do you have anything, Kyle, for us?
Nope.
Thank you, Kyle. Moving on to, public safety motion to enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2, what is it, 3?
4
4?
contract,
Contract.
right?
If
Is
we,
that what you're talking about?
yes, if we need to do that, if not, we don't need that, we can move on to, it's totally your
I'll
call.
make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2, parentheses 4.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We are in executive session at 7:51 PM.
I think we should put it on,
All right, we are out of executive session at 8:43 PM.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry about the wait. as well. Anything else discussed on public safety before we move on?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to contract with Union County for police services, subject to the terms and conditions negotiated with the Union County Sheriff's Office by a roll call.
Okay.
I'll give it to you, so you know how to write.
I'll second it.
Okay. Carrie?
One second, write that down.
I can give it to you in a second, so you
Okay.
have to write for me.
I have a motion and a second. I am going to do a roll call. Is there any other discussion before we move on?
Now, does she want to participate in this vote or not? Or does it-
Yeah,
I mean,
she's
yeah.
good.
Yes,
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, I just
Yep.
didn't know if she felt comfortable doing
So, any other discussion? If not, Julia,
Aye.
Darla,
Aye.
Kendra,
Aye.
Carrie.
it. I,
Motion has passed, nobody opposed. Moving on to executive session if needed, for any other personnel, anything. Okay. If not, I need a motion to adjourn the council.
I'll make a motion to adjourn council.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
I.
Opposed? Motion passed, we adjourn at 8:45 PM. Kyle?